Back in 2014, when the Land Transportation Office was defending its budget request for 2015, LTO officials made a number of pledges to Congress. This year, it is making the same pledges for more money in 2016. Does the LTO deserve the money? That's what we are going to discuss today.
Every year, the Executive Department of Government, that is all governments and their line agencies, are asked to submit their proposed budgets for the next year. This is collected and collated into the proposed General Appropriations Act by the Office of the President, which then submits this to Congress for approval. After the submission of the proposed GAA, the department heads and line agency officials are asked to defend their proposed budgets before members of Congress in many hearings held by various committees of both the House of Representatives and the Senate. Back in 2014, officials of the Land Transportation Office, a line agency of the Department of Transportation and Communications, went before House and Senate hearings amid public complaints of delays in the release of the new standard license plates, delays in the release of driver's license cards, and allegations of the prevalence of graft and corruption. In the hearings, faced with threats from senators and congressmen to block their budget or even slash it to zero, LTO officials made the following commitments to members of Congress to get its proposed billion budget approved. Car plates and stickers for brand new cars issued within 7 days of submission of requirements. Registration of old cars, complete with car plates and stickers within 2 hours of submission of application and requirements. New driver's licenses processed within 4 hours. Old driver's licenses renewed within 60 minutes. It's now 2015, and this time the LTO is asking for 1.09 billion as its budget for 2016. This is aside from the 801.8 million pesos that it receives annually from road users tax. Also, it expects to collect 82.8 million pesos from seatbelt fines. In proposing the budget, the LTO said this is needed to help it meet what it calls major final outputs. These outputs include the expected registration of 8,331,490 motor vehicles and the issuance of 5,247,060 driver's licenses and permits. And this year, the LTO has modified some of the commitments it made last year. This time, it promises that 90% of new registrations completed with MV plates and stickers within 7 days, and 90% of renewals of registration completed with MV plates and stickers within 2 hours. Already, senators and House representatives are making noise about blocking or slashing the LTO budget for 2016, expressing doubt that the agency can fulfill these commitments, especially after it failed to meet the commitments made last year. Among them, Senator Ralph Recto, who promises to question DOTC and LTO executives about the promises they made last year, the deliveries of license plates, the issuance of driver's licenses. Recto says he will ask LTO officials to explain why they failed to meet their commitments for this year and how it can fulfill its promises. The same promises made in 2014 for 2015, and now being repeated anew this year for their money for next year. The LTO still have time left to come up with the answers for the members of the Senate and of the House over the next months and weeks as Congress begins to deliberate on the 3.002 trillion peso budget proposed by the Executive Department for 2016.
It's a tough call for members of Congress to decide on how much some government agencies should get. Giving too much for doing so little is definitely a no-no. Still, to do well, government line agencies do need to spend enough. But at the end of the day, government should do what well-run, successful private firms do, which is to rate rewards and incentives against performance indicators.